What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. So you want to know a little bit about Octane, Apex Legends' brand new legend that is just released in the game today. But you don't just want to know what he does. You want to know how good he is. Well, I thought today, instead of doing what most people would do, which is give you just an overview of Octane's skills, because I've been gone for a while and I wanted to give you guys something to think about, something to talk about, a little bit meatier, is I wanted to rank Octane versus every other legend in Apex Legends. So not only will this video teach you about what Octane does, it will also give you my opinion as to where he ranks amongst the other legends. At the end of the day, you should know my exact tier list for these legends and know which ones are considered better, considered mid-tier, considered worst of the bunch, and if Octane fits in any of those categories. Let me know what you think before we get started though. After you've played him for a few hours, do you think he's top tier? Do you think he's mid-tier? Do you think he's low tier? I have my opinions, but I want to hear yours in the comment section below. Before we get into the ranking though, and we will do that in order, we're going to talk about Octane's abilities so you know what they are. It's hard to compare and rank something before we get into what that thing is, so let's first start off with it. Octane is a speed daredevil. He is all about moving quickly, and his tactical ability helps him do just that. His tactical ability is called Stim. He moves 30% faster for 6 seconds. Now, the big important thing to note about this is it costs health to use. So you're technically taking away health from yourself in order to move faster. It's very much like that warlock mechanic in games where, yes, okay, I'm going to summon a minion or I'm going to do this spell, maybe in WoW, but I'm also going to siphon some health from me in order to do that. Now, as far as this ability goes, it is one of the strongest abilities in the game, and I'll tell you why. This is basically the new Bangalore passive, but it's actually activatable by you. And for those thinking, well, Bangalore passive happens all the time while you're fighting, it's very consistent, this ability might have a 20-30 second cooldown, so you can't really count on it. No, it has, get ready, a 2-second cooldown. I mean, they're like drugs. You can do a lot of them, but if you do too many, you might just die. So be careful with your own health pool, knowing that's what you gotta spend to get that cheddar, that movement speed, the thing that you want. Now, that ability is top tier. It ranks amongst the highest abilities in the game. So this is something that's gonna be at that top level, something that really helps him stay competitive, because not only does it give him this movement speed while he is running, it also gives it to him while he is ADSing, while he is holding a gun, while he is not holding a gun, sprinting without a gun. So all of these things actually just get enhanced, and even when he is getting shot, although most characters get slowed down when they are shot, his slow is lessened as well. So all of this movement just means that he's essentially going to be the fastest character in the game when he hits this on. Maybe Bloodhound and his ult will be a little faster. Now, moving on to his passive ability, this is where it all starts to kick in, my friends. The Swift Mend automatically restores your health over time. Now, it restores it at a value of 1 health every 2 seconds. Now, that's not that much, and honestly, in the game, you will have the, I guess, the intention to try to use your stem a little bit more than your Swift Mend is swiftly mending you know what I mean? It's not that quick, and you can easily, with a 2-second cooldown, just want to keep that movement speed up, but you may end up being half health and realizing that you've got to slow down for a while. It takes patience, it takes awareness, and it takes just kind of weighing the options of, if I go into a fight with maybe 80 health instead of 100, is that going to matter? Will I still make it out alive? All of these things help to guide you to become a better player as a Octane, but in general, I think Octane is pretty set up well with this movement ability and then the passive regen. This passive regen isn't that strong in fights. It is very good over the course of a game, as you can run out of meds and you can still get full health eventually. You don't have to package as many meds as well. You can rely more on shields and shielding, because you know that health will be ticking up throughout a fight. That's one of the better things about it, but it's not as good as the raw movement speed, and it's not as bursty as the Lifeline. One of the things that it does have going for it though is that it just happens naturally. You don't have to take an action, so you don't have to heal, you don't have to make a noise. All of these things help you to stay a little bit more stealthy. But I asked the people who were looking at, I was looking at some comments, and some people were like, yeah, I'm just about to run away for like 3 minutes, heal up at full, and then come back, that way I don't make any noise in the fight. It's like, at that point, you may just want to go fight, use a med kit, and get back in there, brother. So these two abilities really define Octane. He essentially is a stem machine. He moves faster. He's a quick go-getter, just crazy thrill seeker, and his passive ability allows him to keep on healing. His backstory is actually really cool, how he, I guess, set the world record by exploding himself with a grenade to just break through the finish line faster, but then he lost his legs, and then he got these robotic legs. So it's really in his personality. He brings a really cool concept to the game, and I've been really loving my time with him. Moving on to his ult ultimate ability, the thing they teased in the early part of this weekend in your market, it is the launch pad. Octane deploys a jump pad that catapults teammates through the air and himself. Now this could be used by enemies. You could throw caustic traps on it, you could throw grenades on it and they will bounce. You could throw yourself on it. There are so many different applications for this that this is really going to be the high skill ceiling for Octane players. Considering that Stem is one of the better abilities in the game and his passive ability Swift Mend is a little bit less functional than Lifeline's super fast use of meds and shields and things like that, because that's just very applicable and really helpful in a fight quickly. His ultimate ability probably ranks around the level of the Pathfinder Zipline. However, it has some more maneuverability, so to speak, for two different reasons. Now, one of the reasons it's a little bit better in my opinion, although not in some situations, is because it doesn't telegraph where you have to go. The Pathfinder Zipline will make it clear where you are going or where you're coming from, and it can leave you very vulnerable. You could throw a launch pad down at your feet, and people may know that it's there, but they don't know where you're coming from, they don't know what angle you're taking, and depending on the speed that you're moving at, they don't know how far you'll travel. It also has the ability, like I said, to use caustic traps to throw items on it, have them bounce off like grenades. All of these things actually make it much more diverse than the Pathfinder grapple. Although the grapple and the zipline can now be used together in Season 1, I still think this is a little bit better. I'm going to rank this about a B+, maybe A- tier of an ultimate. It's not the best ultimate in the game, but it is very, very useful and will scale with how good you are. Alright, so now we know what Octane does. Let's start comparing him to the legends. Let's start it off, Octane versus Caustic. Who wins in this one? Ladies and gentlemen, although I love you and Tim the Tapman, Octane is better than Caustic. Unfortunately, this says more about Caustic than Octane. Although Octane does bring a lot with his kit, Caustic is just not really going to be meta until something drastically changes about this game. A lot of the fights take place in open fields and as you are moving. Mobility characters and characters who could traverse ground quickly typically have the advantage in Apex Legends, and we've seen that with all the legends who have risen to the top of the meta. However, Caustic has a very specific playstyle that only works in certain situations, which is why it's very difficult to consider him better than Octane. I think Octane comes in ahead of Caustic as he is first landing on the Apex Legends roster. However, Caustic did get a buff to his traps, and I am curious to see how the hitbox change has affected him, but right now Octane is definitely a better legend than him. Moving on to Pathfinder, how does Octane fare? Well, Octane is actually better than Pathfinder in my opinion as well, and here's why. Now, Pathfinder Zipline just got buffed. You can grapple on it now, which gives you a whole slew of things to do, and we did see that his hitbox got adjusted. I'm not sure how much that has affected him, but overall, he does not bring the same level of aggressiveness that typically denotes high-level play and the success ratio of winning and losing in Apex Legends. A lot of the people who get the first shot, who are able to aggress onto you, put you under pressure, end up getting the win, and Pathfinder is just a little too predictable to see coming. Now, the highest level of Pathfinder is probably going to outmaneuver the highest level of Octane, but for your average player, Octane is going to give you access to passive healing as well as a smaller hitbox and more consistent movement skill, and a movement skill that applies to your team with more consistency and diversity that can be scaled upon your teammate's skill. And, you know, a zipline is a zipline. If you're bad, you put a bad zipline, yeah. A good player on your team, even if you put a launch pad in a weird spot, they can make use of it in a good way. So that gives them flexibility, and I think Octane ranks above Pathfinder right now. Now moving on to Gibraltar. Does Octane beat Gibraltar? This is an interesting one because Gibraltar is actually a very good legend. He's just got the biggest hitbox in the game. The brother's damn huge, and so that's his big problem. Now they've changed the hitboxes, and considering that nothing else changes, I say Gibraltar has one of the best ultimates in the game. He's got the best support ability in the game. Outside of Lifeline, maybe, I really enjoy the shield. I think it can be very valuable, although it comes with people knowing exactly where you are, so, you know, take it or leave it, but you also have the ability for that gun shield, which just doesn't quite give him the maneuverability he wants. Although he's got some great support cast, if you're playing solo in 1v1s, trying to do things on your own and get wins, I think Octane still ranks a little higher than Gibraltar, but just barely as far as his kit. All that shield, I think, is one of the better abilities in the game, and I love his ultimate. I think Octane's mobility and just general nature of being able to run away or aggress into a fight is really what puts him over the edge of Gibraltar. Again, this is my opinion, and this is for more of a solo style play. Team play, Gibraltar may have an edge, but I really do believe that Octane is a better solo character and just a better character in general in order to have more success in Apex Legends right now. Moving on to Mirage. One of my favorite legends to play. Is Octane actually better than Mirage? The answer is yes, he is a little bit better only because the bamboozle does wear off. Now, because it's so much about the bamboozle and so much about disillusions and things like that, I think Mirage is a pretty simple answer. He doesn't quite have the mobility. His illusions are really fun, really good at a low level, but don't scale as well as a high level. And Octane has simply just got more stats, more statistically better things that make him more viable to play. Considering they both have a relatively similar hitbox, which is what kind of gave Mirage the better end of the stick versus the Gibraltar, the Pathfinder, and the Caustic, I think it's kind of pretty obvious that Octane is a little bit better. However, it doesn't mean that that will stay the same. I know a lot of people are asking for Mirage buffs. I just think that right now Octane is in a better position with his movement capabilities, with his passive healing, and with the fact that that stuff scales towards the late game and especially versus higher level players. Now, I know a lot of people considered, hey, Pathfinder, Gibraltar, Caustic, probably Octane is better than that, but what about Bloodhound? He's always been in that mid tier. Does Octane take over that fourth character slot, so to speak, behind the top three, the triumvirate, so to speak, of dominant legends in this game? I think yes. I think Octane is actually a little bit better than Bloodhound right now, but Bloodhound on the right day could be a little bit better than Octane. This really comes down to flavor of the month and your preference and probably the team that you're playing on. But I think Octane has what it takes to be better than Bloodhound and be a more consistently valuable pick. Here's why. The ultimate. I think Octane actually does the job of the Bloodhound ultimate without forcing you into a black and white scenario with the threat vision. Now, I know a lot of people think that's very good for stalking and hunting, and it really is, but in a fight, it can be very difficult to go into a very long animation and then also be in black and white and shift out of those phases. It could be jarring and it could be uncomfortable, and it can often throw off one or two shots or at least put you on the back foot even though you're the one hunting. Now, that doesn't mean that it can't be used perfectly and set up mini kills where people don't see you coming, but I think Octane having the ability to reach that level of speed that quickly, that efficiently, and that continuously, whereas Bloodhound has it as an ult, honestly, I have to give the benefit of the doubt to Octane here. Playing with it too, it just felt like Octane was the fast character that Bloodhound made me feel like, but just was on consistently that fast character. Bloodhound, you kind of build things up for the ult, you have the tracking, scanning through the walls, it's a little bit more tactical, that's very fun, but Octane is literally just hold W key, be aggressive, jump around, slide around, he's just moving around the map, and I think that's what gives him that scouting potential. Honestly, I think he's going to be used in the same way Bloodhound is, for the scout, for just checking out what's happening, jumping away by himself, knowing he can run back to safety, and due to that consistency, I think he edges out Bloodhound just a little bit. Bloodhound is a true tactical passive, giving him the ability to see footsteps and track enemies, and Octane is literally just being able to exist and just get more health than you, move faster than you, and create or cover more distance than you. I mean, these are just good things in Battle Royale when you're chasing people or they're chasing you. I mean, I know Bloodhound's ult does that, but the fact that Octane can do it all the time, that's what gives it the edge for me. Now, moving on to Wraith. Does Octane actually become a little bit better than one of the most loved, most well-received, and most successful legends in all of Apex Legends? And the answer is no. Octane is not as good as Wraith, and that's my opinion. Not only is the hitbox on Wraith still smaller, but Wraith has that ability that I just value more so than almost any other ability in the game, which is that reset button. That, oh, I'm getting shot with my passive, but then I also can avoid taking any more damage for a while I still move and reposition. She has the mobility with using her ultimate to just gain that extra movement speed. She can also go into the void to gain even more movement speed, so she could do the things that Octane does by moving faster on a relatively quick cooldown cycle, but she also just has that invulnerability. And until some character gets a level of invulnerability or some ability that's that much stronger than, being able to survive when people are all shooting at you, I'm just going to give Wraith this one. And I think most people will consider that Wraith is still a little bit better. Her hitbox also is just one of the things that it's going to be very, very hard to uproot her until that is changed, if it's ever changed at all. Now, Octane versus Lifeline. Does Octane actually usurp one of my favorite legends in the game? I know you guys are scared. No, the answer is no. Lifeline is still a little bit better than Octane for the simple reason that I think her passive is just better than Octane's, and it's just more applicable in more situations in Apex Legends as of now. Octane's passive is very, very good where you restore that health, and yes, you don't have to make a noise, but a lot of the time when you are in those last engagements, you're not necessarily hiding, you're fighting, or you know where teams are, or you're healing up and you're in a fight, but you're behind cover. So the noises aren't necessarily the driving factor for me. It's the fact that she's going to get more healing when she needs it, and she's also going to be able to get more shielding when she needs it. That passive, to be able to get those meds, those shield batteries, those Phoenix kits up, it's just invaluable, guys. I don't see that changing anytime soon, so if you're a Lifeline main, do not worry, she's still queen. Also, her care package is just a very strong statistical thing to have for your team. I mean, launch pads are cool and all, but if you're fighting a team with all epic armor and you just have white armor, but you're launch padding into them, see how that fight goes, buddy. I think the purple armor is going to take the day, unless you're not hitting your shots, kid. And now it's time to look at Bangalore versus Octane. Who comes out on top? Which one do you choose? If that's the last choice, you're the last person, and all the other slots are filled out before you load into Kings Canyon. Honestly, I want to hear you guys decide in the comments section below. Here's why. I think that these abilities are so similar that it's going to come down to preference and your ability to execute. Honestly, you look at the tactical ability stem for Octane to move 30% faster, that is Bangalore's passive double time. However, it only happens when she's getting shot. Now, yes, Octane is more controllable, but it also costs him health, so he loses health in order to activate it, where Bangalore gets it no matter what. You could say she's got to lose health because she's getting shot at, but you know, it doesn't mean that it's going to be as much damage, so that doesn't necessarily have to take place. The other ability, Swift Mend, is a pretty cool passive which helps Octane stay healthier, but Bangalore's Smoke is much more utility based, and with a digital threat can be a game changer and way better than Swift Mend in terms of actually winning a fight. Last but not least, you have to compare their ultimates, and the Launchpad versus Bangalore's ultimate, they both have different purposes. The utility now comes into Octane's kit, whereas Bangalore's more utility plus damage. However, I would say it's very unrealistic to get a lot of kills with Bangalore's ultimate. Obviously, it's not as utility-oriented with the launch pad for Octane unless people use it correctly. All of these things mean that it's going to be up to you to decide, but I would rank them relatively even with a slight edge towards Bangalore because people have more familiarity with them, and that digital threat thing is very strong if you're able to pull it off. However, I want to know, again, what you guys think in the comment section below. How do you feel about these legends being ranked in Apex Legends? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Do you like the video? If you do, I really would appreciate a like, and if you want to stay tuned for more content, I'll be covering a lot of Season 1, more Octane, more things about these new weapons, and a ton of other Apex Legends content here on the channel. I really appreciate everyone who's been around, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave me a comment again to let me know what you think. I'll be sure to see you all there. As always, my friends, remember to never give up, never stop gaming, have fun with Octane, and I'll see you all next time.